I've collected a bunch of stuff over the years, and today I'm going to list some on eBay. I'm listing 6 out-of-print limited edition titles. I want to list 3 of these at the scalper prices that we see on eBay, and then also 3 at 99 pence start with absolutely no minimum. We need to know, do these items sell at the scalper prices? Or can the magic of an auction reach a good expected value? First thing I need to do though is check what sort of prices these things are already listed at and set my expectations. Which should I list at scalper prices and which should be 99 pence start? I've actually picked out 7, but I don't really qualify the Pulp Fiction Steelbook as a limited out-of-print edition, but I'll be listing it anyway. Prices, prices, prices. So, Pulp Fiction Steelbook, listed on eBay from £18 including delivery, sold on eBay for between £20 and £25, and CEX are selling this for £12. I think at looking at the prices that these things are listed at on eBay, there's a kind of greed monster that's lurking inside of me. 101 Films Black Label Split Second, eBay listing around £30. CEX, I couldn't find a price, they have the standard edition listed at £8. I'm thinking, would it be better listing at a higher price? So really, I can get more money back. Limited edition second sight release of Upgrade. eBay listings start at £75 up to £165. Sold prices between £41 and £70. CEX list this for £40. But then, what kind of experiment would this be if I didn't take the risk? 101 Films Black Label of Screamers. eBay listings start from £37. eBay sold prices between £11 and £16. And CEX sell this for £18. Prices are all over the place on this one. I've always wondered, why is there a need to do the scalper thing? Yeah, I know on one hand it is for the money, but with the prices that they set, surely these things can be set around for months and months before they sell. Dario Argento's Phenomena. Listing on eBay around £88, which seems kind of high. Sold prices around £65 and CEX selling this for £28. Again, prices all over. And really, is it better to have stock sat around or have a higher turnover? I kind of get it, but I don't see the point in having stock sat around. Indicator limited edition release of Road Games. Listing prices on eBay start from £60. Sold prices just seem to be around £20. And again, I can't see this listed on CEX, but they have the standard edition for £10. So we'll see what happens with this experiment. I've finished listing the titles on eBay now. Indicator release of Irreversible. Listing price on eBay from £65 all the way up to £260. Sold prices seem to be around £37, and CEX would sell you this for £18. Obviously not sealed. These seem to be the most valuable, so I'm going to take the risk with them. I'm kind of nervous about it. I've put them all on 10-day auctions. I started them on Monday 21st of April and they should end on Thursday the 1st of May. And we had Road Games, which I've started off at a price of £27.99. We had Screamers, which I've started off at £28.99. We have the Pulp Fiction Steelbook, I've started at £16.99. And we have Split Second, which I started at £27.99. And then, of course, we've got the 3 big hitters. We have Phenomena, which I've started at 99 pence. We have Irreversible, which I've started at 99 pence. And we have Upgrade, which I've started at 99 pence. So, I guess it's a matter of waiting and seeing what happens. Now, I'll give it a day. I've got a few watches, but not much movement on all. I had a bid on Upgrade, but it was 99 pence start, so it's not really a sign that anything much is happening at the moment, but it's got 10 days. Fingers crossed it mounts up to something. So we're about 5 days now, and nothing much has changed. The things that I listed on the scalper prices, they've got a couple of watches each, but there's been nothing in terms of bids or any offers or anything like that. The ones that I've got on auction that started at 99 pence, we've got bid on Irreversible, that sits at 99 pence, but there are 11 watches at the minute. Same with Phenomena, there's got the opening bid of 99 pence, and there's about 6 watches on that, so it's not setting the world alight. I've got 5 days left, so I'm not too worried. There has been a little movement on Upgrade, and they've bid up to £11.35. Still a long way off that £40 price tag that CEX has, but it's getting better. Hopefully it picks up soon. Sunday evening, something happened. We had some kind of movement, not on the ones that are listed at the scalper prices, but the ones I had on auction. All of a sudden, I had a little bit of a bidding frenzy on Upgrade, and it's now up to £43.58, which is above what CEX would charge. Now, I think it does help that I've listed pictures and people can see what they're buying. Yeah, I'm happy with that price. The others, Phenomena, still sat at about £4 on bids. It's got about 15 watches. Irreversible, we're up to about £8. So there's still a distance to go on that before it reaches a decent price. I'm hoping bidding picks up at some point, but I'm happy with that price at the minute for Upgrade. But who knows, could go a little bit higher. I think on that title in particular, there's just no need to put a scalper price on there because it's fetching quite decent value. And I've had another bid. Just as we're talking, I've had another bid. It's up to £50 now. That's awesome. So I'm on the last day of the auction now, and there's not really been any movement as such. Upgrade is still sat at where we left it. There has been a drop in the number of watches, so I'm assuming that price is probably tapped out at its maximum now. Phenomena and Irreversible are both still sat at around a tenner. I'm now a little bit worried that I could have perhaps got more money from them at CEX rather than running this this little test, this little challenge. I may end up losing out on some money that I could have got back for them. Nature of the beast, I suppose. So the auction is finished, and it perhaps didn't go quite as I expected. So you know I listed about 7 items on auction. These 4, these were the ones that I listed close to scalper prices on auction, and no one bid. They didn't sell at all, so yeah, what do I do with them now? But then these 3, these are the ones that I had on auction starting at 99 pence, and the bidding, it didn't go quite as expected, but we're going to run through that now. So the first to sell was the limited edition indicator release of Irreversible. Now this one, it didn't do quite as well as expected, but I think looking at the scalper prices was partially to blame. Scalpers were setting this at sort of £65 to £100. When checking out the previously sold prices, it was selling anywhere between 20 and up to about £40. So I listed it on the 99 pence start price, and Irreversible, it ended up finishing on auction at £32.52 plus postage, which isn't actually bad when you look at the sold prices, but it's a fraction of what the scalpers have listed it as. Do these actually sell at the scalper prices, or do they just sit there for months on end? I'd rather have got this sold than have it sat there for months. But this one, it's also ended up probably a little bit more than I would have got at CEX anyway, so it's kind of a win, just slightly disappointing. Well, Oliver, hope you're happy with the price. Got a good deal there. The next one that I sold was Dario Argento's Phenomena, the Arrow edition box set thing here. The listing prices were pretty high on eBay for that, and the sold prices as well. A lot selling for around £60. A couple of them did sell for less, sort of under 30 quid. Listing prices from the scalpers were £80 to £150. CEX price, they would only actually give £18 for trade-in for voucher. So the prices, they're kind of all over the place. I'm not sure where some of the scalpers actually get their pricing structure from, whether they're just chancing it with it being out of print title. I don't know. Anyway, this one, Again, disappointed purely based on what I'd seen it sell for in the past. It was successful in the way of giving me more than the CEX price, but the actual sold price on this one, it only went for £22.43 plus postage. A lot less in comparison to those other sold prices on eBay, so the risk on this one perhaps wasn't worth it. Should I have put it just below a scalper price and hoped for the best? But then again, it might not have sold for months. I don't know what the best way to approach it with this sort of thing is, really. But Darren, you've got an absolute steal. Hope you enjoy. Now, this one. Upgrade limited edition from Second Sight. Again, another one where the prices, these were pretty high. Listing prices on eBay were starting from about 70 quid all the way up to 165 for this edition. Sold prices, it was going anywhere between £41 and 68. This one, starting at the 99p auction, it sold for an incredible £73.42 plus postage. 73 quid for one title. I like to make sure these limited editions are nicely bubble wrapped and protected. If I was buying a similar limited edition or something that was quite special in a way, I'd want the seller to take care of the postage. So I like to send things as I would like to receive them. 3 chunky parcels ready to be sent out. A little bit extra. I just like to make it a little bit awkward for these tearaway strips. So, is it worth scalping on eBay? Well, really, this all depends what you want from your stuff. You can kind of aim around the scalper prices, but don't expect a quick sale. I've seen plenty of sellers with the same stock listed for months on end, and all without a sale. And all of them run that risk of the item depreciating in value over time, or when there's new editions of the film released. And scalpers, they seem to be in it for the pure profit. They just don't seem interested in that quick sale or a big turnover. The experiment that I've just done, it kind of showed me that these things, they will sell for a reasonable price. Sure, when comparing against some other sellers, a couple seem to sell for pretty low. But when you dig deep and do a little research, you tend to find that if you mark it up at a fair price and set your expectations, then you will make that sale with a reasonable return. Just remember to not value the thing at the price you paid for it, or how some others may price it across sites like eBay or Vinted. At times during this, the green-eyed greed monster kind of showed its head, and it was perhaps pushing at me to list these things at a little bit more, to try and make more money. But if I did that and they didn't sell, then that risk of depreciation is there, and they could be sat on my shelves for weeks and months before anyone interested perks up and makes a purchase. It's a shame that with these physical media movies, there's kind of no standard for the pricing. There's no price charting that we see for the retro games. And because there is no standard and no guidelines for what things are worth, if it's a limited edition or if it's out of print, then it's like the Wild West across the reselling sites. The things can be priced ridiculously high as some sellers want to just make that profit. As it is, scalping, it's just not controllable in any kind of way. They're always going to do it. They'll buy up the stock of the limited edition items, and they'll keep on listing these things at overly inflated prices. The only way that we're going to stop them is literally to stop buying. Let them sit on their stock. But then, we're collectors. We always have that fear of missing out. And some of the ridiculous resellers, they know this.